Infrastructure is crumbling and the problems are only getting worse. The pressure to find solutions is hot. Let's talk about why American cities have no water, no electricity, and no money to fix their infrastructure problems. Welcome to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast, hosted by Chad Smeltzer.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great week. Welcome to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast. This is our 1-year anniversary. Thank you so much for listening and following us. I hope you're enjoying the content. We're going to keep it going with these government leaders, but our first podcast episode was with Michael Simpson of the Simpson Company. And this week, we're relaunching that podcast again so that you can get some more valuable content out of it. It's only 22 minutes versus 44 minutes, and I did try and fix the audio. It's still not the greatest, but you find value in it and you enjoy it. Have a great day. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast. My name is Chad Smeltzer, the CEO and founder of BigPyramid.com. With us today is our guest, Mike Simpson from Simpson Company. He's the CEO, and he is making a big difference in the water and wastewater industry. Thank you for joining us there, Mike.
Thank you, Chad. It's a pleasure to be here. Look forward to chatting about infrastructure and the water and sewer industry and what's happening and what the hot topics are in pipe and water meters. And his last gig when he was working for someone, he was the general manager of AirVac, the vacuum sewage business down in Rochester, Indiana, where he decided he wanted to form his own business, and he started Simpson Company. I'd been in school for a couple years, didn't like it, and was going from job to job trying to figure out what to do with my life as a 23-year-old. And I started with him in February of '83, and then a couple of years later, my brother-in-law Dan was just finishing at Purdue, and he joined the company, and we decided to provide the services ourselves instead of just being a rep company. We sell a job, and as I always said, sell a job and they do something dumb, and I got yelled at. We decided that if we did it ourselves, then we knew who did it and had control over those people. That was our running joke. And so my brother-in-law and I, there was the three of us, and off to the races we went. And
that's awesome.
Here we are today in 2022 with close to 80 employees and multiple offices across from the eastern part of the country. And we're just big into all kinds of things in the water and sewer business for utilities. So.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing story. Like the history of the family and next generations taking it over.
We're working on that succession plan to see if we can move it to generation next.
Now, when you say crazy lifestyle, let's dig into that a little bit more, because I'm in that space, you're in that space, and I'd love to know your interpretation of that.
People don't have a clear understanding what entrepreneurship really is and what owning a business really is, and it may look off. I've had my share of laying awake at night wondering if there's enough money in the checkbook to cover payroll.
Yeah.
We've been down all those roads, and
industry it's like, oh, we want to make all this money, but go ahead and take the risk, start your company, leave your company where you're making lots of money.
And we've gone from everything on a printed form and a pencil and a clipboard to everything's on a tablet, or for our younger technicians with fantastic eyesight, they can do it on a cell phone. Right. I can't see that well. Even a tablet has to be zoomed in. And I tell people, though, that this is a long-term career path and a place where you can make a solid, decent living. It takes people. It still has a human component. You need people to run the equipment, to do the work. Marathon over the Labor Day weekend. We're not quite at that stage where the robots will do all the stuff for us yet. Right. So it still requires a person.
Let's talk about people, because we are in this phase right now where we have this gap of skilled labor, right, coming into the construction space, more particularly. And I would assume that you're kind of dealing with the impacts of labor shortages just like everybody else. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So we've got a couple unfilled positions open in Indianapolis. So any of the listeners, when they hear this podcast, you live in the Indianapolis area, go to our website and apply. We're looking for people. And we, even around in even our Illinois facilities, our East Coast facilities, we're always on the lookout, because growth continues. And it has been difficult with so many people deciding to leave the workforce, or it appears people are starting to come back. They're starting to re-engage, and that's a good thing. And that's when I say but it looked very interesting. And that's what I say about our business is this is a to 36 months, somewhere in that time frame, if you complete all the training tasks.
Yeah.
It's $25 an hour job with full benefits, with all the bells and whistles and dental and all the other stuff that goes with it, as I call it.
Yeah.
It's a real job and a career that, no different than our friends that work at the mill, because we live in Northwest Indiana and other places. The wages are competitive with that, try to offer maybe not exactly the same as fancy of benefits because we're small, but we certainly do our best. But I tell people that, you don't have to go to college to work here. We have plenty of college graduates that work here, but you don't have to go to college to work here. That's a misnomer. This is just like, I'm sure you talk to a lot of people, chat around, and there are a lot of places out there in the trades and everywhere else that are saying, hey, graduate from high school, come see me,
Yeah, we need labor workforce, and that's one thing. One of my business development managers, you met, Landon,
right?
And you do sometimes need college degrees, but learning in the field, I've had these conversations with a lot of people. It's like, when engineers go to get engineering degrees, they really don't have a lot of field experience, and then they come out, they're an engineer, they do book work, they're going through the book, and then they send it out to the field, and the field guys are like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Again, if you're predisposed, and I highly recommend engineering as a first class education and a place to go.
Yeah.
But I'm also, if you're not that much into college and you don't want to spend even at Purdue's prices of 25 grand a year, 70,000 plus dollars to, heading toward $100,000 a year yourself.
Right.
You don't have to. That's the misnomer. And that's what, I talk to a lot of guys in the construction industry, the building trades, operating engineers, and they all say the same thing. Hey, you come to work for us, you get through the training programs, you actually work hard and make an effort, you get paid to learn, and
a lot of procurement opportunities out there. We have a lot of infrastructure funds coming in from the federal side of things. How have you, as a CEO, decided to move your company in the direction to kind of, labor shortages?
Angles of attack, talking to the local high schools, trying to get in on the ground floor, just like you've talked about. With infrastructure is a high priority for most people across the board, and be it water or sewer, roads and bridges, you can list them all out. Yeah. And so there's oodles of opportunity. So yes, it's recruitment, move forward. And like I say, we're trying to use every trick in our book. And
you've been in the industry a long time. You've been running ME Simpson for a long time. You, as a CEO, I see you have adapted to, bringing in the millennials and stuff like that, and being an open place where you can learn a lot about the infrastructure world and get into this business, which is amazing, to your benefit. Great job.
Thanks.
Sticking to infrastructure though, and going a little bit back to technology.
Well, the problem that I see is in some cases, people are entrenched in, we've done it this way for the last 100 years, and they're not good. People in general are never good with change. And so the hard part is getting them to realize why they need to change, the true value of change, and how it actually is for and to their benefit, not only as a person, but their utility, or they tell me they test them, and what they're doing is the 4 to 20 milliamp signal test from the head of the water meter back to the computer, to the SCADA board. And they're making sure that that's operating properly so that the signal's correct, so the reading's correct. And
Right.
that's a valuable part of the test. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with the physical water meter. And so they're not testing the physical water meter. They're testing the signal from the head to the computer.
Wow.
The physical water meter, you need to do a physical test on to verify that it is functioning properly and accurately. And the problem is people adapted to that and got used to that over the last, I'm going to say, 50 plus years, probably 100. And they just look at you all confused. Well, we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
And it's nobody's fault. It's just a habit that got started in places, and slowly but surely we have been re-educating and making changes and helping utilities move forward.
Let's talk about that meter real quick, because that's data that is estimated mostly, right? Is that the case? And I'm still learning some more about the water meters and things like that.
Water meters, it's not estimated. Water meters are measuring. We have mechanical meters that are kind of the backbone and would have been there forever. Now you're hearing a lot about solid state meters. They're the ones with no moving parts in it.
Okay.
You'll hear a term mag meter. That's a particular brand style. There's numerous solid state type meters that use ultrasonic technology, magnetic technology. What we're professing to people, especially on the mechanical side, the mechanical style, but on all styles, is that annual regular testing of these meters, these large meters at your production facilities, at your wells, whatever it is,
Yep.
you want to know what you're introducing into the system. That helps you with your water loss components, your water audit, so you know what you introduced.
Yeah.
And then you've got something to measure against. Because if that information's inaccurate, everything down the road is inaccurate. It's meaningless. You want to measure it because in your production thing, you're measuring so you know how much, quote, chemicals to feed in when you're treating the water. You want to measure it so you do it correctly, so you have the right balance, and that goes to chlorine just as well, because that's the agent we use against bacteria.
Right.
And I need to be able to measure. I need it to be accurate because we need it correct. So that's one of the biggest reasons for testing, is just, in a big case, it's verification. Hey, it is working right. Thumbs up. We're moving forward. Fix it, calibrate it, adjust it, and get it back to where it's correct, so we know what we're doing.
So sticking to that, it sounds like these mechanical meters, and I'm still learning about meters, obviously.
The vast majority of meters out there, whether it's at your house, whatever, or what's considered a mechanical meter, nodes that will go on valves and go on fire hydrants that listen 24 hours a day. That's kind of a proactive approach to leak detection, because the goal is you'll never stop main breaks. Main breaks will occur. I'm looking for that leak that starts that I can proactively fix before it breaks. It's about saving water and saving money, because it's just wasted production money. It's a microcosm of a much larger problem nationwide. They're just making press right now, and it's sad. I feel terrible for all those residents. I don't want them to drink bad water. They deserve to have quality water at their fingertips, at their tap, no questions asked. I'm really on their side. You don't have to be Jackson, where, they may be more economically disadvantaged. It can be in affluent areas too. Don't ever assume the affluent areas might be luckier because they've got more money to throw at it. Not that the pipes aren't good, even at 100 years old. I've seen some stuff at our East Coast operations in Wilmington, Delaware, that, is probably close to 150 years old. They're pounding away at pipe replacement in areas of town. They have a list. They are working it every day.
You kind of mentioned the pipe is 150 years old. Are they doing triage of this system first?
They're doing triage in advance. They're doing studies.
Nice.
That's some of the programs we offer with our pipe rank AI services, as well as our ePulse, which is an actual boots on the ground checking segments of pipe program. We're helping. They have their engineering team, service teams that are out there. So they're trying to be strategic in their replacement, and it's, using history and knowledge and, trying to be a lot of planning, a lot of organization. But there are proactive, like our client in Wilmington, Delaware, very proactive. They're on top of it. And there's lots around here in the Chicago metro, Northwest Indiana. Everybody is. I'm watching a lot of pragmatic, proactive. City of Chicago, we work with them. Their engineering group, boy, they're on top of it. They're one of the better ones I see out there. Using electroscan technology, I can help you find the unknown services and tell you what the material is. Everyone is aware by October 15th or 16th of 2024, you must have turned into the EPA your mitigation plan, but most importantly, you have to turn in your inventory. And if you have 12,000 services, you have to tell them exactly what all 12,000 services are.
Wow.
And that $15 billion set aside specifically for lead mitigation in drinking water systems.
Right.
Basically $3 billion per year for the next 5 years.
Wow.
And in the congressmen I've spoken with from Indiana, I've told all of them, get prepared for that to slip. And I said, guys, I think you're going to need a little more money. I think the number's not right. It's no offense. I mean, everybody's doing their best estimate. I'm not criticizing. But I said, based on our manpower struggles, I don't think we can get it done in a 5-year time frame. It's going to be really, really hard. Yep. And not because nobody doesn't want to, it's because we can't.
We don't have enough resources. Yeah.
I don't think there's enough resources out there. Yeah. It'll be interesting, but it's in all the utilities we're speaking with that we do business with, obviously, just getting the inventory done so they can present their mitigation plans. Just getting the inventory done is a task.
Yeah.
Like I say, we're finding that most utilities are finding that in their records, 10 to even up to 20% on some, they have no records. They don't know what's underground. Wow. And hey, you got to remember, some of this stuff was put in 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And even 50 years ago. But think most development, if you think about where we live in Northwest Indiana and the greater metropolitan area, most stuff, the heavy building was in 45 to now, but you're going back all the way to 1950s when all these suburbs blew up and everything was installed. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that they're missing pieces. That's a long time ago. Yeah. They did not have the advent today of computers and databases and all the other stuff. So I'm sure there are missing records from 1979 when we started this business that I probably can't find anymore. Who knows if probably were destroyed or tossed out because nobody thought about it, that kind of stuff.
Interesting segue into what you're kind of getting to is data, right? Infrastructure data. And I feel like, in my opinion, that we need a centralized database for infrastructure to help communities understand what they actually have and how to budget appropriately.
Well, most utilities need to have a robust data management program for their water and sewer. You can add in roads, sidewalks, trees in the park stuff. No different than your house when you're in the basement and you're pulling those plastic totes out and you open it up and it's a surprise. And you're like, wow, look at this. This is from 1983. My wife did that to me the other day, and she said, get rid of this. More aggressive about these inventories and about managing our data and managing our databases.
Yeah.
And utilities really are stepping up to this. So far, nobody's gotten sick and nobody has had anything bad happen so far.
Yeah.
Scares me to death that somebody could. But that's the problem with Flint terms. We're poisoning little children.
Right.
And it was wrong. And it was a failure. That was a hardcore failure. That's when I say we get into the words hardcore failure of human beings.
Yeah.
You can buy all the technology in the world and all the whiz-bang toys, human failure.
Yeah.
And we screwed up. And instead of owning it, they deflect and blame someone. You can go to mesimpson.com, look at our website. It'll tell you all the different water and wastewater services we offer for utilities. Our services are all designed around building programs for you to teach you how to do it or turnkey. You can call me at 800-Mike@mesimpson.com.
You're going to get a lot of
emails. That's fine. You can email me directly. It's no big deal. I will do my best to answer you quickly and efficiently. The standard leak detection for water or leak detection for sewer. As I say, they're the same thing. Water, it's escaping the pipe. On the sewer side, it's getting in the pipe. So pick a poison. It doesn't matter. But we have the technologies and the abilities to help you with all those problems and your water meters and your valves and hydrants, all that good stuff.
Great.
So,
thank you so much, Mike. This has been great.
Thanks.
I have more to talk about in that.
We've got a number of things, Chad. We're going to have to probably sit down and lay out an outline of some of the cool infrastructure things we should be talking about.
Man. That's for sure.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mike.
Appreciate your time. You have a great day. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you for listening to the Infrastructure Hot Seat Podcast. We hope that this show brought you some insight on relevant topics within the infrastructure world. Please join us every 2 weeks on Tuesday for the next episode. If you're interested in being a guest on this podcast, please set up a 15-minute interview with your host at calendly.com/Chad Smeltzer.